I'm Boggs. I'm an alcoholic. So I'm going to jump into this just like I did with my drinking. Most of us started off young. Dad giving me drinks, basically telling me it was okay until I got to being about 8 years old when was the first time I literally got hammered, um, bouncing off the hallways at my dad's house. And then whenever go out camping and stuff with the guys, he always let me and friends drink a little bit here and there. I didn't really think anything was the matter with drinking until I'm just going fast forward, just kind of kept on drinking here and there until I reached 21. Right when I turned 21, I was actually getting ready to go into boot camp, and I just drank once in a while still, not thinking it was a big problem. Well, me and some friends went out um, to a hockey game. It was the Thundercats versus the Regions on December 6th of '08. Um, we went out to a hockey game, first time ever being at a hockey game. And we snuck some alcohol in, me, two of my childhood friends, and then my girlfriend at the time. And so we all snuck in some tall cans. We're sitting back, killed the tall cans. Then my buddy went and got us another tall beer all the way around for all of us. Um, well, I was sipping on that thinking, I had plenty of time. It was already the third, I don't know if you call them innings or whatever, periods. Um, it was already the third period beginning, so I thought, maybe I had another period or something to go for me to kill my beer. And mind you, I already kind of felt a little bit of a buzz. Well, next thing you know, it's over. I still got a full beer. And so I try to be sly and sneak it out. And of course, security at the door catches me and says, "Hey, either you got to drink that right here or throw it away. You can't sneak it out." And so I looked at my friends and I was like, "Hey, you guys help me." "No, we already killed ours. That one's for you. You do it." And I was like, "Okay, well," alcoholic part of me was like, "Well, I'm not going to throw away this $12, $14 beer. I'm going to drink it." So I chugged it at the door. Yeah, chugged it at the door. And then as we were walking out, I asked my friends, if we can just hang out for a minute. I want to let that beer kind of hit me because I ended up drinking 3 tall cans plus that beer without even really eating anything at the game. So I was probably getting a nice little buzz going. And they're all saying, "No, you're speaking fine. You're not slurring. You're walking straight. You have boot camp to go to tomorrow. We have to go to work. Let's just drive us home. You're fine to drive." And so I listened. I let them talk me into driving. Started driving home I'm from up north, so I started driving home from Stockton to Modesto. It's about half hour, 40-minute drive. But there's a way that you can take the country once you're halfway. Well, we got to that halfway point, and me and my buddy sitting behind me really needed to take a leak. So I pull off the freeway in the country part where it goes from country all the way to my buddy's house, country, so I could take the back roads instead of taking the freeway. So after we jump back in, I start taking the back roads. I turn down this one street it's basically a straight shot straight to my buddy's house. My buddy that was sat next to me, his name was James. He lives right on the verge of country and city. So I decided it'd be best bet to take country the rest of the way home. Well, I started taking the country way home, and all I heard was my buddy say, "Hey, let's go fast again. Let's go fast." I was driving a 2001 Camaro Z28 with T-tops. It was a little souped up too. It had a LS1 engine in it with a chip. But I turned down that road and they say, "Hey, let's go fast." So I floor it. Not even a week before that, me and my buddy that was sitting behind me went down the same road and we took it up to like 130. I have a little bit of a racing background, so I know it's real stupid to race at night. You don't ever hit the brakes when you take a turn. You always try to coast through it. Well, started going. I just looking at the speedometer, freaking that car was fast. Look at it, doing 90. Look at it again, I'm doing 110. I look at it again, I'm doing like 140. And this whole time, nothing's dinging up in my head like, hey, you know what? It's nighttime. You need to slow the, excuse my language, the fuck down. Um, until I seen there was right before we get to my buddy's house, there's an S turn. The road's straight for miles until you get towards the city, and there's an S turn. I saw the yellow sign fly past the side of the car, and I know what that yellow sign meant. Man, I was coming up on that S turn. So I tried slamming on the brakes as much as possible and let off the brakes to take the turn. I made it through the first part of the turn. The second part of the turn, the ass end of the car slid out. And like I said, I was out in the country. Well, all it was is Modesto is really known for almond orchards and stuff. And well, the ass end of the car slid out and put me facing straight towards an almond orchard. And they build levees around these orchards so that way they can flood them and irrigate. Well, the car being so low, grabbed that levee and I cartwheeled that car, the cop said, 9 times between a row of trees. And landed upside down. To sum it up real quick, I heard my best friend right next to me take his last breath next to me. And then my buddy sitting behind me, when we got out the car to use the restroom, he didn't put his seatbelt back on. So when I said it has T-tops, well, with the car flipping, the T-tops flew off. He flew out the top of the car. My girl got pinned in the back seat. So I kicked out the driver's side window, heard my buddy moaning out in the field. I went and grabbed him, pulled him to the side of the road. Then I ran back to the car. At this time, ambulance showed up, fire department showed up, told me to get the fuck away from the car. So I did. Then me and my buddy that flew out rode to the hospital in the same ambulance together, and he still did not have any recollection on what happened in the whole car accident. And I'm trying to explain to him that our best friend passed away. I stayed in the hospital for a little while. I ended up catching 12 years. They wanted to give me 16 years with 2 strikes, 9 felonies. I fought that, took 12 years with halftime, 1 strike, 1 felony. So I got out. I stayed sober. I stayed sober for a good 3 more years. And then I got with my wife, and she said, hey, it's okay for us to drink once in a while. We slowly started drinking, got out of hand. I ended up going into treatment. I called for treatment myself out here in LA. I went to treatment, got better. I ended up having almost 2 years sober. And then I ended up having a relapse. I ended up waking up one morning just completely in depression and anxiety. And I went on automatic pilot straight to the liquor store. Picked up a bottle of vodka. Didn't even make it out of the parking lot. Chugged the bottle of vodka while I was in the parking lot. Started driving back, and I rear-ended a car. So I'm currently fighting another felony DUI charge. And then right after that happened, I called around, got into one treatment center, but my main goal was trying to get into Fred Brown because I heard a whole bunch of good things about Fred Brown. I got into this other treatment center. I was in there for a month and a half, and then I got a call from Liz saying, yeah, there's a bed open. I'm like, sign me up for it. I'm going to leave this treatment center and jump to Fred Brown. And I'm so glad I did, because that other treatment center compared to this don't have shit on Fred Brown. Excuse my language, but it's absolutely true. Like, Fred Brown just has a really good program on, I don't care how many people at first, yeah, I cursed the letters too, but it's actually meant to help you and get you thinking and into yourself, writing those letters. That's the whole goal behind it. And it does work. It absolutely does work. But I'm almost about to graduate. I'm coming up on my 90. I'm going to be graduating pretty soon. And I couldn't have a better platform or tools in my toolbox to help me stay sober this time than being here at Fred Brown. So I appreciate your guys' time and thank you for letting me share.